Hey there. So I felt like talking again and want to talk about Nicki Minaj again because the rabbit hole seems to go deeper, I guess, than what I initially thought. So I thought that Nicki Minaj, because she stood up and said some speech, I guess it was at the White House, I'm not sure where it was. She was standing at a podium and she was talking about how she really appreciates the Barbs and just so glad to have all of their support, but she has to do what's right. She has to stand up for justice. And I guess after that speech, she lost a lot of support because of that. And I thought that was the reason why Nicki Minaj decided to take her to go to the Turning Point event to speak with Erica Kirk on a stage and basically tell black women to stop attacking white women's looks, which I just haven't seen black women do that. I've seen black women constantly get compared to every other woman. I've seen black women constantly being told that they need to be like white women, they need to be like Asian women, and they need to be like Latina women, and they constantly get teased about their hair when they date with a certain group of men. I just had to put it on that right there. But so I just thought that stuff, that what she said made absolutely no sense. And I felt like it was a projection because she was upset that she was losing so much support because she decided to join teams with Donald Trump. And I thought she was like lashing back at black women for, removing that support from her. Because one thing I noticed about people who are on the left or on the right, I guess, but really on the left, this same thing will happen with Tasha K. She can say a lot of things that would make black women mad, but the one thing that was the last straw for black women is when Tasha K said that she supported Donald Trump. When Tasha K decided that she was a Republican. And that's when she said she lost 10,000 subscribers. I'm pretty sure most of those were black women. Okay. So I think when it comes to the left, they don't play when it comes to somebody being a conservative, especially another black woman who want to be a conservative. It's almost like that should be illegal. But come to find out that the rabbit hole goes a little deeper than that. So I was looking at Jessie Woo, her latest live, where she talked about how Charlie Kirk said that Nicki Minaj is a bad role model for little girls. Well, I don't disagree with that. See, a lot of stuff that Charlie Kirk said, I don't disagree with. I agree with the fact that Nicki Minaj is not a good example for little girls. I don't understand who would disagree with that statement. Only thing I had a problem with Charlie Kirk is the fact that his supremacy was showing through, which he said that black people don't have the brain processing power. Now, he said this about black women, but then at the same time, when somebody asked him, if he was on a plane and he found out that the pilot was a black man, what would you say? And he said he would say, "Oh my God, I hope he's qualified." Why would he say that? You wouldn't think that if a white man was flying. Why would you think that if a black man? So he feels the same way about black people, that they lack intelligence. Okay. And that was my issue with Charlie Kirk, that he literally has such a huge platform to let the whole world feel like, the black people who have jobs other than in the fields is just a DEI, and they got it by affirmative action if they're not somewhere in the fields working. Okay. So that was my issue with Charlie Kirk when his true colors started to seem like it started to show. But other than that, yes, I agree with the whole thing. A lot of these black politicians on the left like to victimize black people too much, like to make it seem like black people strive. They always make black people victims, and it's the white, the white man needs to, the white woman, and all this stuff right here. And I get tired of that too. Because it's making it seem like there's absolutely nothing that the black person can do for themselves. And I do see that quite a bit on the left, that it's an extreme victimization of black people. And that annoys me. Okay. But Nicki Minaj, I was looking at Jessie Woo, and that was the title of her video. Charlie Kirk says that Nicki Minaj is a poor role model for little girls. And she replayed Nicki Minaj's speech about how black women should not be putting down white women and not attacking their looks. And I just could not understand where that came from. And I don't know. I guess Jesse Wu figured out that it came from that Allison Sweeney. Is her name Allison Sweeney? Anyway, it came from that. I think it's called Allison Sweeney Has Good Genes. And it came from that ad. And I guess a lot of people got offended by that, saying that she has good genes. And I guess a lot of people got offended by that because it might look like it's a type of a eugenics type of ad, right? And when black women got a little offended, I guess Nicki Minaj took it upon herself to speak on that. And she used that right there to say that black women should not attack white women. And I just want to say that my dogs are barking. This is why I'm way in the back, because my dogs are barking so bad. Anyway, but I'm sick of this with black women, because like I just got finished talking about another black woman who's talking about how she feel like men should not wait to become a provider before he gets married. Why wouldn't he want to wait till he's financially stable enough to take care of a family before he gets married? Okay. I mean, if he's not a provider when they get married, because they might marry really young or something, because if he's in his 40s and 50s and getting married, he should, for the most part, have his life together, because he's pretty close to retirement age. Okay. But somebody in their 20s or something, okay, I kind of can see that if they get married young, but they need to wait to have children at the same time. They need to wait to have children. Okay. I can kind of see that if people get married in their 20s. Okay. But somebody getting married in their late 30s, 40s, and 50s, I don't understand why he can't have his finances together. I don't understand that. And see, this is, so you have black women, and you had a whole lot of black women in the comments who agreed with what she said, that women should not really be looking for providers, you know? And no, like I say, no other group of women does this. No other group of women would do what Nicki Minaj did. You won't find an Indian woman telling other Indian women to not attack white women. You won't find a Latino woman get on that stage and say, Latina women, we got to stop attacking white women. You won't even find an Asian, a Chinese, Korean woman that would get on that stage and downplay herself to uplift the white woman. Only black women. And I know Nicki Minaj do that. I can't say every black woman do what Nicki Minaj did. But what I am saying is that black women collectively have this bad habit of wanting to tear each other down. I'm seeing it that, listen, I'm gonna tell you the truth. It's time for black women to rise back up in consciousness. But I feel like, from what I keep seeing at this point in this particular realm, I think that 75% of black women are a problem. And I know some people might think that's too much, because they see these other black women, and even if they say stuff that's messed up, that's literally holding other black women back, because these women have large platforms and they say this type of stuff. Okay. They don't want to see anything, like they still want to count these as their sisters. So you have black women who see that this is a problem and they want to hold on to the cancer. Like black men will hold on to Tommy Sotomayor, like that's a cancer. Tommy Sotomayor don't even want to see other black men do better. So he's a cancer in their lives too. Like you want to hold on to a cancer for the sake because this is a black woman. And because you associate with black women, you just want to hold on to every black woman and say, oh, no, I'm at the point of feeling like, I think close to 75% of black women, specifically in the United States of America, but not every black woman that lives in the United States of America is indigenous. A lot of them are, come from different areas, but they still call themselves Black American. But I'm seeing this consciousness that continues to be a problem, and is prohibiting other black women from rising like they should. Black women, in order to really rise in consciousness like they want to, they kind of have to get away from black people. When I see black women thriving, They're nomads. They have to get away from other black people in order for them to rise up. So black women in the United States of America, Lord have mercy. Hold on, so I'm just looking at some text. But black women in America as a group, you cannot allow, if other people see you rising up, they're going to do everything to push you down. And they know that this is around this time black women are due to rise back up in consciousness. And they're doing everything to make sure black women don't rise up. And they want to use this excuses that she's putting down the white woman. You know, and I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of the Aunt Jemima. This is what I'm talking about. Nicki Minaj is that type of black woman that want to make sure black women stay at the bottom. This is exactly what I was talking about. She's that type of black woman that want to make sure black women stay at the bottom and uplift the white woman, uplift the white woman's image. You know, and everybody was clapping when she made that comment, as if you don't see that people are tearing down black women left and right. But black women are the biggest problem. I'm not trying, because my thing is, regardless of what anybody else have to say or do, regardless of what Tommy says, regardless of what Kevin Samuel say, if black women, literally, if the world witnessed that black women love themselves, they loved each other, and they don't settle for less, they don't sell themselves short, you can see that they have a high self-worth, regardless of what anybody else would have had to say. If black women were acting the complete opposite and the world saw that black women acted complete opposite of what is being said, like you can talk about black women, hood rat, whatever, but then at the same time, if none of that is being seen, then it's not going to hold, it's not going to stand, because it's not true. You know, but I feel like in order for black women as a collective in the United States to really rise like they should, there's a lot of black women that really need to get out the way. Because as much as you can say that black men, because they are, a lot of black men are warlocks, and they literally are doing everything to make sure black women don't get back on that throne. That's why they always trying to call themselves teaching black women and teaching black women what she need to know, because he wants to control the way she thinks. Okay, I've been noticing that a lot with the conscious community. But black women are just as bad. Because like another example is this book by Elaine Brown. She's like one of the Black Panthers. She was one of the Black Panther leaders in the Black Panther Party. And she talked about how they had this luncheon. And at this luncheon, the black men had to eat first before the women and the children ate. The black men had to get their place first, and the black women and the children had to stand behind. And one time a black woman spoke up about that, right? One time a black woman spoke up about that, and a black man knocked her across the room, and black women just sat there and looked. Elaine Brown was talking about how when during these luncheons, when black women had to stand behind black men and black children had to stand behind black men to make sure they get their plate first, she said that it was other black women around there to make sure that black women knew their place. It was other black women around to make sure black women knew their place. What is their place other than the bottom? When you make sure a black woman knows her place, you're saying that her place is at the bottom and she needs to stay at the bottom. And I feel like Nicki Minaj and a lot of women like her, like this woman that talking about how you shouldn't expect a man to be a provider, that type of woman too. Because why get with a man if he's not going to be a provider? What are you, just having sex? Don't marry a man if you just need a roommate to somebody share the bills. Get a roommate, but don't marry. Why would you marry a man for that? Because you're going to have a family with him. And if you need to take leave, if you need to take a few months off or a few years off to take care for your children, then you're going to need somebody else to take care of the bills around the house. And if he's told that he don't have to be a provider, especially by these other women, then you messed up. You're going to be fussing about how nobody's helping you, but you don't understand that you keep purposely choosing men that aren't providers and get mad when he don't help you. And this is the type of stuff that black women seeing what's going on with Kandi and Todd. They see what happened with Mary J. Blige and what's his name, Kendu. They see what happened with Wendy Williams and her husband. They see what happened with Jennifer Hudson. They see what, and white women like Adele had to pay out her husband. Like, these white women have to pay out their husbands far more than these black women do. These white women celebrities have to pay out their husbands like over $50 million settlements. It's more than what these black women are paying out. So it's messed up with the white women too that make a lot of money when they make more money than their husbands. But yet and still, these black women keep seeing all of that, and they still want to tell how black women should not have any standards when it comes to dating and marrying. Why would they say that? Like, that is evil. That's what I call evil, that you can see the examples time after time after time, and you still give black women this bad advice. It seems like you know better. Like, why would you give them this bad advice when you see this isn't working out, but you continue to give that advice? Just because somebody's been in a marriage for 20 years doesn't mean that it's a good marriage. Look at Simone that's been married. Simone from Married to Medicine. Been married for 29 years, but she feel like she's by herself in that marriage. So just because somebody's married for almost 30 years does not mean that marriage is successful. Okay? So, but anyway, I'm about to go. I'm tired of this consciousness right here. This is the consciousness that I'm talking about. Is why I have called black women evil. It's not because of the stuff that Tommy Sotomayor and other people like to hop on black women about wearing weaves and fake eyelashes and bad attitudes. I don't care about all that stuff. I don't care. I call black women evil because women like Nicki Minaj and women like this lady I was talking about that's telling black women not to expect a man to be a provider. Okay. And so many examples like that. And women like the women who are part of the Black Panther Party who made sure that black women knew their place to stand behind the black man and let the black man go first when it's time for it to eat lunch. Make sure all the black men get their plate first and the black women stay in the back. And it was women that made sure the black woman knew her place. Black women. Okay, it's too many black women like this for me to ignore the fact that this is a huge problem. And they are the main ones that are holding other black women and girls back in the United States of America. The black women who are really thriving like that have left the United States of America. They got the heck away from black people. Okay, it's one thing for black men to do things to make sure black women never rise up, because like I said, they are. But it's another thing that you have so many black women that are literally doing everything possible to make sure that the black woman knows her place. And her place, according to them, is at the bottom. And I see that time and time and time again. And I'm going to continue to call them evil for that, because I think it is evil. You cannot control what's happening. Okay, the divine feminine energy is already here. And with the divine feminine energy, you know that's going to cause black women to rise up and remember who they are. And you have people like Nicki Minaj and all these other groups of women that want to make sure black women stay low in consciousness and give them all this bad advice about what kind of man they should pick, about how they need to stop attacking white women. Okay. So anyway, and JD Vance got on his Instagram and congratulated Nicki Minaj for what she said. But anyway, I'm done talking about that. I wanted to talk about that a little bit, and I will talk to you guys later.